My name is Zoe. I am 29 years old, and this is my story. It's a story about a big mistake. My mistake. I thought I was making a good choice. I thought I would be happier. But now, every day, I think, was I wrong? Yes, I was wrong. I live in a small apartment now. It has one big window that looks out onto a busy street. The sounds of the city are always there. Cars, people talking, sirens at night. It is never truly quiet. But inside my apartment, it is very quiet. Too quiet. It's the quiet of being alone. A quiet that feels heavy. It presses down on me. Before this, I had a different life. A different quiet. A life with Liam. We lived together for 5 years. We had a home. Not just a place to live, but a home. It was a small house with a little garden. Liam loved that garden. He planted tomatoes every summer. I remember the smell of the sun on the tomato plants. It smelled like happiness. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. Liam and I met in college. He was studying engineering. I was studying art. He was serious and smart. I was a dreamer. We were very different, but we fit together. He was calm. I was full of energy. He was my anchor. He kept me from floating away. Our life together was simple. It was a routine, but it was a comfortable routine. He would wake up early for his job. I would hear the coffee machine start. That was my first sound of the day. The gentle hum of the coffee machine. He always made enough for both of us. He would leave a cup on the counter for me, with just a little bit of milk, just how I liked it. He remembered. He always remembered the small things. I worked from home. I am a graphic designer. So I spent my days in our sunny little office room, looking out at the garden. Sometimes I would see Liam out there on the weekends, mowing the lawn, weeding the flower beds. He wasn't a man of big words. He didn't write me poems. He didn't say, "I love you," every 5 minutes. He showed his love. He showed it in the coffee he made. In the garden, he kept beautiful for me. In the way he would fix my computer when it was slow. He was steady, like a rock. Our evenings were quiet too. We would cook dinner together. He would chop the vegetables. I would make the sauce. We talked about our day. Simple talk about his work, about my clients. Then we would watch a movie or read our books, sitting side by side on the sofa. His presence was just there, a warm, solid feeling beside me. I took it for granted. I thought it would always be there, like the air I breathed. But then something started to change. Not in him, in me. The quiet started to bother me. The routine felt boring. I was in my late 20s. I looked at my friends. Some were traveling the world. Some were going to loud parties in the city. Their lives looked exciting on social media, full of color and noise and new things. My life felt gray, the same day, every day. I started to think, is this it? Is this all my life will be? A quiet house, a garden, a steady man. I felt a restlessness inside me. a hunger for something more, something different. I convinced myself that I was unhappy. I started to see problems where there were no problems. Liam's quietness, which I used to find calming, now felt like he was ignoring me. His practical nature, which I used to admire, now felt boring. I wanted big emotions, big adventures. I wanted a life that looked like the pictures my friends posted online. I remember one Saturday, we were at a little outdoor market. We went there sometimes. We bought fresh bread and cheese. Liam was talking to the man selling honey. He was asking about the bees. He was genuinely interested. He could talk to anyone. He was kind. But I stood there feeling impatient. I wanted to go. I wanted to do something else, something more exciting. I looked at the old couples walking around, holding hands. They looked sweet. But a voice in my head whispered, "That will be you." Slow, quiet, boring. The thought scared me. I started pulling away from Liam. Slowly, at first. I stayed up later than him, watching movies he didn't like. I went out with my friends more, to noisy bars in the city. When I came home late, he would be asleep. But he always left the porch light on for me, so I wouldn't have to come home to a dark house. I saw the light, but I didn't see the love behind it. I tried to talk to him about it, but I didn't have the right words. "Don't you ever feel like we're stuck?" I asked him one night. We were washing dishes. He looked confused. He turned off the water. "Stuck? What do you mean?" "I thought we were happy, Zoe." "I don't know," I said, looking away. "It's just the same thing. Every day. Don't you want more?" He dried his hands and gently turned me to face him. His eyes were so kind, so full of concern. "What more do you want?" he asked softly. "If there's something you want to do, we can do it. Do you want to take a trip? We can plan a trip." He was trying to understand. He was trying to give me what I wanted. But I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew I felt trapped. And I wrongly thought he was the cage. Not my own feelings, not my own fear. So I said, "It's not about a trip, Liam. It's about me. I think I need to be alone. I need to find myself." Those words, "I need to find myself." They sound so important, so deep. But now I know they were just a foolish excuse. An excuse to break a good man's heart. An excuse to run away from a good life. The conversation was long. It was painful. He cried. I had never seen him cry before. It broke my heart. But I was stubborn. I had this idea in my head. The idea that being alone would make me happy. That I would become a new, exciting person. The person I saw in my dreams. "Zoe, please," he begged. "Don't do this. We can work through this. Whatever it is, we can fix it." "There's nothing to fix," I said, even though my own heart was screaming. "This is something I have to do. For me." I was so selfish. I only thought about me. I didn't think about us. I didn't think about the home we built, the love we shared, the 5 years we had given each other. So I left. Packing my things was a blur. Every object held a memory. A book he gave me, a silly mug we bought on a weekend trip, a soft blanket we shared on cold nights. Each thing was a small cut on my heart, but I kept going. I told myself it was for the best, that this pain was temporary, that freedom and happiness were waiting for me. Liam didn't try to stop me again. He just watched. His face was pale. His eyes were empty. When I was ready to go, he stood by the door. "I love you, Zoe," he said. His voice was thick with sadness. "I hope you find what you're looking for." I couldn't say anything. I just nodded. A single tear ran down my cheek. I walked out the door and didn't look back. If I had looked back, maybe I would have stayed. If I had seen the look on his face, maybe I would have realized the size of my mistake. But I didn't. I got in my car and drove away from my home, away from the only man I had ever truly loved, away from a life I didn't know was perfect. The first few weeks alone were strange. They felt like a vacation, a weird, lonely vacation. I found this small apartment in the city. It was expensive, much smaller than our house, but it was mine. I decorated it my way. I painted one wall bright blue. Liam would have said it was not a practical color. I bought a velvet green sofa. Liam would have worried about keeping it clean. I felt a small thrill doing these things. I told myself, see, this is freedom. This is me. I went out a lot. I said yes to every invitation from my friends. We went to loud restaurants. We went to crowded bars. I drank colorful cocktails. I stayed out late. I danced. I laughed. I posted pictures online. My life looked exciting now. It looked fun. I was trying to prove to myself and to everyone else that I had made the right choice. But when I came home at night, the fun stopped. I would close the door of my new apartment. The noise of the city was outside, but inside, the silence was deafening. There was no porch light left on for me. There was no one to tell about my night. There was no warm body sleeping peacefully in the bed. It was just me and the heavy quiet. Slowly, the exciting parts of my new life started to fade. The reality set in. Being alone wasn't just about freedom. It was about being alone. All the time. Especially when things were hard. 1 month after I left, I got a bad flu. I had a high fever. My whole body ached. I lay in my new bed, under a thin blanket. I felt miserable. All I could think about was Liam. I remembered a time I was sick when we were together. He made me chicken soup from scratch. He put a cool cloth on my forehead. He rented my favorite movies. He sat with me, even when I told him to go away so he wouldn't get sick. He just said, "My job is to take care of you." Lying there in my lonely apartment, I cried. I missed his care. I missed his kindness. I missed his soup. I ordered soup from a restaurant. It came in a plastic container. It was watery and tasteless. It wasn't the same. It wasn't made with love. Little things started to remind me of him constantly. I bought a new bookshelf. It came in a flat box with a million tiny pieces. I spent a whole Saturday trying to put it together. The instructions were confusing. I got angry. I threw the little wrench on the floor. And then I remembered Liam. He was so good at these things. He would have looked at the instructions, laid out all the pieces neatly, and built it in an hour. He would have made it look easy. And he wouldn't have complained. He would have just done it. For me. For us. I ended up calling a handyman to build the bookshelf. It cost me a lot of money. Money I didn't really have. My part-time job as a graphic designer was going well. I got a big new project. I was excited. I finished the first draft, and I felt so proud. My first instinct was to turn to my right to show Liam, to say, "Look what I made." But there was no one there, just an empty chair. The excitement faded into a dull ache. Good news doesn't feel as good when you have no one to share it with. No one who truly cares about your success. I missed our simple conversations. I missed talking about nothing. About the weather. About a funny dog we saw in the park. About the plot of a TV show. I used to think it was boring. But now I understood. It wasn't boring. It was connection. It was sharing a life. It was having someone who knew you. Who you didn't need to impress. Loneliness became my constant companion. I would walk through the city on weekends. I saw couples everywhere, holding hands, laughing, sharing an ice cream. Each happy couple was like a small knife in my heart. I used to be one of them. I had that. I had that simple, easy love, and I threw it away. Why? Because I thought I wanted something more exciting. The truth is, excitement is temporary. Parties end. Drinks are finished. Friends go home to their own lives. But a partner, a good partner, that is home. Liam was my home. His steady presence was my home. And I had walked out the door and locked it behind me. The regret started as a small seed, but it grew every day, watered by my loneliness, fed by my memories. It grew into a giant, thorny vine that wrapped around my heart. It squeezed me. Some days, it was hard to breathe. I thought about calling him. Many times. I would pick up my phone. I would look at his name in my contacts. My thumb would hover over the call button, but I could never press it. What would I say? "Hi, Liam. I made a terrible mistake. I was a fool. Can I come back?" He deserved better than that. He deserved someone who chose him. Someone who didn't run away looking for something better. And what if he had moved on? What if he had found someone else? Someone who appreciated him. Someone who didn't think his love was boring. The thought was unbearable, but it was possible. Life moves on. I couldn't expect him to wait for me. One day, about 6 months after I left, I did something I shouldn't have. I drove to our old neighborhood. I parked my car down the street from our house, our home. I just sat there, looking at it. The lights were on. The porch light was on. Someone was home. I saw the garden. The tomato plants were gone. It was autumn now, but the lawn was neat. The flower beds were tidy. He was still taking care of it. Of course he was. He was a responsible man. Then the front door opened. My heart stopped. It was Liam. He was taking out the recycling bin. He looked okay. He was wearing his favorite old sweater. He looked the same, but also different. He seemed thinner, and he didn't smile. I wanted to get out of the car, to run to him, to throw my arms around him and tell him how sorry I was. But I was frozen, paralyzed by my shame, by my regret. Then another person came to the door, a woman. She had dark hair. She smiled at Liam. She said something to him. He smiled back, a small, gentle smile. It wasn't a big, happy smile, but it was a smile, and it wasn't for me. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. The air left my lungs. He was moving on. He had someone new. And why shouldn't he? He was a good man, a wonderful man. He deserved to be happy. He deserved a woman who could see his worth, a woman who wouldn't leave him because she was bored. I started my car. My hands were shaking. Tears were streaming down my face, blurring the streetlights. I drove away, back to my empty apartment, back to my lonely life, the life I had chosen. That was the moment I truly understood the depth of my mistake. It wasn't just that I missed him. It wasn't just that I was lonely. It was that I had lost something precious, something irreplaceable. I had a love that was real and steady and true, and I had traded it for an idea, a fantasy of a different life that didn't really exist. Now I live with this regret every day. It's a quiet ache in my chest. It's there when I wake up in my silent apartment. It's there when I eat dinner alone. It's there when I see a happy couple on the street. I am learning to live with it. I focus on my work. I have good friends. I am building a life, but it's not the life I want. It's a life built on the ruins of my mistake. I still have the green velvet sofa. It looks nice, but it feels empty. No one sits on it with me. I still have the bright blue wall, but it doesn't make me feel happy. It just looks like a color. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I thought I would be happier alone, but I am not. I thought I needed to find myself, but I think I lost myself when I left him. The person I was with him loved, safe, and content. That was the best version of me. Now I miss him every day. I miss his quiet smile. I miss the coffee he made for me. I miss the sound of his key in the door at the end of the day. I miss his steadiness. I miss our home. I miss the man who loved me, even when I was foolish enough not to see it clearly. So if you are listening to this, and you have someone good in your life, please, don't make my mistake. Don't look for fantasy. Don't think the grass is greener somewhere else. Sometimes, the most beautiful life is the quiet one, the simple one, the one that is built on small, everyday acts of love. Appreciate what you have. Hold it tight, because once it's gone, it might be gone forever. And regret is a very heavy thing to carry every single day.